Welcome back. Welcome to a new year and the launch of iTrain 6.0. In this episode, we provide an overview of the main highlights of the upgrade and the prerequisites to consider before upgrading. Follow-up tutorials will provide full explanations of all the subjects discussed in this episode. So enjoy! The creator of iTrain, Xander Burkhout, describes this as an evolutionary rather than revolutionary upgrade, meaning that much of the theory behind how we use and create an automation program in iTrain has been retained. But hidden behind the scenes, there has been a massive recoding effort to create a new, modern software architecture that enables the use of up-to-date, sophisticated programming techniques and allows for the easier implementation of the exciting new hardware that is appearing in the industry. So for us, the users, much remains familiar, meaning no huge learning curves, and we benefit from the innovation this new architecture brings. The extent of the upgrade means that, unusually, the upgrade will be delivered to us in two phases. This is to ease the transition by first establishing the new architecture and some of its new features before introducing the added sophistication of the second phase. That second, and perhaps more revolutionary phase, is in the early stages of exploration and development, with a release date probably in 2027. But it is already revealing how the new software architecture is capable of producing some exciting new ways in which we can interact with our layouts, in ways that are likely to entice both old and new generations alike to this wonderful world of automation. It's a paid upgrade, reflecting the huge amount of time and effort in creating and testing this new architecture, and will include features of both phases depending on your license choice in one payment. A trial license is also available on request to check things out before purchasing. So, what will Phase 1 bring? Visually, there's been some freshening up of the look and feel of the main switchboard and all its editors, with a focus on improving workflow and productivity. Loads of little tweaks have been added to help you work faster and make things simpler without messing up what you're used to. Overall, it's just a nicer experience. The style of buttons in the top bar has changed, but their functions remain the same. There's a new sound status icon in the bottom right, in addition to its usual control button in the top bar. All icons are now vector-based, so they look crisp and clear no matter your zoom level. In the Edit menu, the editors have been rearranged into more logical functions: a train-related group, a general group, and the switchboard has been moved to the top for quicker access with a mouse. The Booster editor now includes support for ESU, Zimo and LocoNet based boosters, plus the ability to set maximum limits for supply voltage and program track current. There's a new editor specifically for functions, letting you set up custom functions for your locos, an excellent addition. And also a new editor for measurements, enabling the creation of tailored speed measurement templates. For example, you could have separate templates for 2 and 3 feedback setups, another for a speed measuring device, templates for different gauges or scales or train types. The benefit being that you only need to enter the feedback details once and then just select the appropriate template when performing each speed profile. And using the new measurement tool in the switchboard, speed displays can be added on the switchboard, making it easy to compare data efficiently and analyse locomotive performance. In interfaces, 22 new have been added, supporting additional command stations and speed measurement devices. Actions have 5 new conditions: accessory reservation, gauge, locomotive, wagon, locomotive fuel, and 6 new executions: train control, locomotive in train, wagon in train, route station, set time, and clock action, giving you more control over your trains, especially related to the current loco and the model clock. The system execution also now includes the reset command, emulating the reset function that used to be in the options menu. In train routes, there's a new way of adding blocks to a route by simply dragging and dropping any block from the block editor or an empty block from the active switchboard into the train route editor. Drag a block into the top window for each step in the route, and where a choice of blocks is required in a step, drag the block into the blocks field. Within the switchboard editor, in addition to the measurement tool shown earlier, there's another new tool called the shape tool. This is a great addition for those that like to customize, allowing you to draw shapes to brighten up your layout and create colourful backgrounds. A very useful addition if used judiciously, because it will hide the grid. For Spanish users, there's a new set of RENFE signals available. Note, there is no longer a browser area on the left, because instead we can have individual editors open simultaneously, allowing you to work directly in the item editor. Dragging and dropping an item onto the switchboard highlights its location. Pressing apply or clicking X to exit the editor updates the switchboard with any changes made. Pressing reset before apply will undo all the changes made in that session. To save the changes to the file, we now use the main save button, even whilst the editor is open. Preferences has moved to the options menu, just to keep global settings separate from those tied to specific projects. Preferences affect all your projects, while settings are just for one project at a time. Elsewhere in the View menu, there's a new monitor for smart boosters showing voltage, current and temperature for better system diagnostics. If you have multiple boosters, they will be displayed together in a window that you can move to anywhere, onto a second screen for example, or have a permanent display on the switchboard. There's also a new monitor for block-controlled systems, such as Dinamo, simulating block output states in real time, making it easier to keep an eye on everything. It's greyed out on my system, but looks like this. The keyboard monitor is now called the Accessory monitor, since it covers all types of accessories. In speed measurements, when creating a speed profile, you can now place a mark at a speed step. All speed steps prior to that mark will use the decoder's profile for braking rather than iTrain's. This is to preserve the braking sound in sound decoders. This feature is still being evaluated and may be moved to the Locomotive properties in the future to make it more accessible. If you're running a networked setup like in a club, there's better client support to provide options for greater user rights, which is really handy for group environments, even allowing users to run iTrain on their own laptops or handhelds without an iTrain license. But perhaps my two favourite features are the following. Firstly, we can now open all editors at once, so editing becomes much easier to perform. There's now no need to close one editor before you can open another. You can have them all open if you wish and spread across multiple displays if you have them. And secondly, a new feature called dynamic braking. This is a new method that can be applied per block by unchecking brake position in a block's properties. The braking is then based on the inertial mass simulation specified in the Options tab of the Locomotive, whereas with a fixed brake position checked, the deceleration mass simulation is overridden to brake from the brake position to the stop position. When unchecked, it will determine the brake position dynamically. Here, the white train is using dynamic braking. Note how it brakes later in the block, typical perhaps of how a train approaches a station stop. Compared to the red train, which is not using dynamic braking and brakes earlier, crawling up to the stop position. Typical maybe of how real train drivers approach a red light on the main line, crawling up to the light in the hope that it will change before needing to stop. It produces some really pleasing results, and you can choose where to apply each style. Note that both methods cleverly stop at the same calculated stop position. So, a great new set of features in this first phase that are worthy of this upgrade alone, with many other small changes which will be explained in the follow-up tutorials. And remember, there's even more coming in phase 2. That's when we'll see new ways to interact with our layouts. Think of touch screens and other cool tech. But we don't have to wait for phase 2 to try out new gadgets. Loco-tronic, a company working with Beros, the people behind iTrain, have developed a new hardware controller to coincide with the launch of iTrain 6. It takes advantage of all the new tech in the software, giving you a taste of what's to come. Check it out at Loco-tronic.com. But before you rush to upgrade, there's a few things to consider. This upgrade is only compatible with 64-bit operating systems using Intel, AMD or ARM 64-bit processors. So it will not run on Windows 7 or Windows XP and will not run on a computer that uses a 32-bit processor. If you've got a 64-bit processor but a 32-bit OS, you can either get a 64-bit OS or switch to Linux. If your processor is only 32-bit, you'll need to stick with iTrain 5.1 or find a more modern, new or used computer. Also, the old legacy classic mode in blocks is gone. Now it's just use positions. So if your layouts use classic mode, you'll need to update them before opening with version 6. You'll get an error if you try to open an old file without converting first. Automatic signals in blocks have also been removed. Instead, the signal's initial state decides what shows up when the next block is clear, greatly simplifying how this is implemented. So, what's the verdict? iTrain 6 isn't just an update. It's a bold move by Beros towards the future of model railway software. It's driven by their thrill of building and using new tech, and we benefit through the innovation that brings. The flexible structure and forward-thinking features keep iTrain at the top of its game and will do much to entice younger generations into this wonderful hobby. Personally, I've seen nothing to beat it for price, features, license flexibility and compatibility across different operating systems and devices. So, jump over to the iTrain website and go to the Buy page to browse the various upgrade options and prices, starting from as little as €39. Purchase and download your preferred version or apply for a trial license if you want to check things out before committing. Either way, you are helping support the development. The sooner we are on board and using the software, the sooner Phase 2 can be released. One final point. When you open a version 5 layout file in iTrain 6, it will be converted to a version 6 file which cannot then be opened in iTrain 5. So if you want the option to fall back to iTrain 5, make copies of your version 5 layout files and store them in a separate folder, or know how to retrieve the version 5 backup files from the layouts backup folder. In the next few installments, we'll dig deeper into all the new features to help you get the most from the upgrade and decide what works best for you. So until then, happy automating and bye for now.